I'm 11 and I'm at my grandma's. We're playing this card game, Uno. We're sat in her kitchen at this heavy table. She's put a plastic lino covering on it. We're eating Tic Tacs from the bowl. Decanted individually from a box by my tiny gran. The lino covering is mustard and it's got fish on it. It's rancid. And confusing because on the walls are pictures of farm animals with their names underneath. Sheep, pig, chicken. And then even more confusingly, under the picture of the cow, it just says milk. It's weird. I don't know why she's defined by what comes out of her and all the others get their own grown-up names. Anyway, it's my gran, my mum, my brother, my uncle and me, and we're playing Uno, and my uncle and I are playing to lose. We're completely ruining it for everyone else who's doing quite well at winning. We don't care. We've got about 14 cards each. We're stubborn. Hey, if you're not going to win, at least commit to losing. Be the best at being the worst. So we're sat at this table and I'm picking up cards left, right and bloody centre, and my gran stands up to put a green 2 in the centre of the table and she says, "You know Carl died." And she sits down. Carl was this 50-year-old guy in the village. He always wore a zip-up hoodie, baggy old maroon, and he smelled really good, like citrus. And he had a really fit daughter, Beth. Beth also smelt like citrus. Beth with the Morrissey tattoo. Beth, who at the time I thought was super cool and thought I really wanted to be like. Obviously, skip forward 6 years and I'm absolutely fingering women left, right and centre. But hey, I was 11. I didn't know I was queer as a Catholic. If you asked me to define anything at that age, I could probably just about muster All Saints fan. That were about it. Also, Morrissey's a racist now. Yeah. We all realise things about ourselves later on. Oh, Beth. I hope she got that tattoo removed. Anyway, so my grandma says, Carl's died. And my uncle sighs. He used to do bits of gardening for him when he was little. And my mum just says, AIDS, as she lays down a green 6. Now, I didn't know what AIDS was at the time, but the sound of the word felt insidious. Wrong. It sounded nasty the way she said it. AIDS. Like a ratty little dog nipping at your ankle. Judgmental. AIDS. I felt like my spine had been replaced by a stack of worms. I shuffled on my seat, confused. I didn't understand. How could you just guess how someone died? My brother flushes and lays down a changed colour. Red. He breathes out and says, "Why do you think it was that?" He's 17 and he's wearing this tight short-sleeved Pixies t-shirt over this striped long-sleeve top. We used to joke that underneath that there'd be another short-sleeve top and underneath that there'd be another long-sleeve top and you'd be able to play pass the parcel with his torso. My mum explains, "Well, you know, it's tragic, but it probably was AIDS because he was gay and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just as likely it was AIDS." She speaks as if she's reading a weather report. It'll be stormy in Stoneway and breezy in Bristol and Carl probably died of AIDS because he was gay. My brother, and I remember this because he had the tiniest wrists in the world, pinched the ends of his sleeves one at a time, pulling them entirely straight. My uncle and I exchange a look, both respectively picking up cards for our mounting collections. I laugh. I don't know why. It's awkward. My mum becomes a kind of children's entertainer. A few years ago, now you're too young to understand, so many poor young men, it were awful. It were terrible. It were really quite sad actually. They called it a plague, darling. My brother picks up the pace in his breath. You can't just assume Carl died of AIDS because he was gay, he says quick through soft lips. Look, I'm just saying it's very likely he died of AIDS, that's all, says my mum, waving her flat palms in the air. My brother stands up. His cheeks flushing red, his breathing's changed. I can see he's trying so hard to be calm. He swallows. You don't get it. You're making it seem like it's inevitable to get AIDS if you're gay. You're making it seem like being gay is a death sentence. My grandma quickly lays a change colour, turning it to yellow. My mother barks. I don't think we should talk about this. I don't want to fight with you. She lays a miss a go. My brother leans back and puffs out his tiny chest. You're assuming Carl died of AIDS because he was gay. Just admit that. He misses a go. My mum smiles and delicately stands up to join him, to be on his level, his eye line. Classic mediation technique, like when you go to the floor to match a toddler, except my brother's much taller than my mum. She says, I think we're just not understanding each other, and we should agree to disagree, like ending an email. You don't want to understand. My brother sits. To me, he's now like 30 years older. And my mum sees this and she sees him look at her in a way he's never looked at her before. He licks his top lip. My mother switches. I just said he died of AIDS, my brother. Exactly. You just said he died of AIDS. My uncle lays a pick up 4. So I pick up. I cheat. I pick up 5. My mum screams and slams her hand down on the heavy mustard lino table. Does it matter or not if he died of AIDS? The room is funeral quiet. I want to go into the garden, swallow a mouthful of soil and silently die. My uncle bites his thumbnail. I gently reach for another card, pretending I previously only picked up 3. Then, very softly, my grandma stands up to slip a yellow 7 onto the stack. It were an heart attack. Uno. A few years ago, me and my flatmate Nate went to give blood. The nurse told him he couldn't because he'd had sex with a man. I got stabbed with a needle, gave blood and felt dizzy. He went home and felt dirty. Nate couldn't give blood and Carl definitely died of AIDS. And then there's every time we play Cards Against Humanity. You know the game where you have to pair up the funny cards to basically shock people into laughing? There's ones like, who did 9/11? And you can say, Madeleine McCann. Madeleine McCann did 9/11. It's a game of our time. It's horrible, but we've all played it. Well, there's a card that says AIDS. I see why people think it's funny, I get it. When you see Madeleine McCann, it's dark and it's shocking, so you laugh. Because none of us are Madeleine McCann that we're aware of. But when you have an older brother who you loved, who died of AIDS, and you have a mum who will never forgive herself for the only conversation she had with him about it when he was 17, it's... My flatmate Nate, the one who couldn't give blood, he told me he's got a partner who's HIV positive. He also told me there's this pill now that you can take to stop transmission. It protects you. And Nate was so open to me about it. He said, my partner's HIV positive and we're both protected. Like he was telling me he was popping to the shop to pick up some milk. He felt protected. This little blue pill. Like a Tic Tac.